Yes, hello and welcome back to the Any Given Sunday Australia podcast. The only podcast that's running 10, 3 and 1. Danny boy, I'm very happy to add that little 3 in there.
I bet you are, but I feel like now that no team's undefeated, we can drop the numbers. No one cares about our personal team's record anymore. But it is good to be back.
It's the podcast team's record, mate. It's out there. I'll be running it, so I don't give a shit what you're saying anyway. At Charlie Pick, how are you, mate?
Good. I did enjoy the sort of 2.5 hour period where the Bills were the only undefeated side remaining in the NFL. But that was not an enjoyable 2.5 hours. We're going to talk about that in the show. But one of those rounds, like I don't know about you guys, there was so much crazy stuff going on. So many games with incredible turnovers, mistakes, and penalties galore. And it was almost like that. I want to know, like, I'd like to talk to some people who've coached for the years and go, is there a point that your teams actually, everyone starts to get on top of their assignment, but then they forget all this basic stuff because they're concentrating on what they need to fix so much? Because it felt like that with a lot of the teams this week.
Yeah, the rules just go completely out the window. It had to have been like one of the most wildest games, especially wildest weeks so far this season.
In total.
Yeah, just like the amount of crazy stuff that happened and like things that just like unbelievable, like fumbles going back over the end zone for the other team to score a touchdown. Like it's just so much stuff just really shouldn't have happened. And yeah, penalties galore. It was like the referees were just throwing out all their dirty laundry. I felt like towards the end, it was just flags. Just so many flags.
I did enjoy our Monday. I was watching on our DAZN and hit us up for our link.
It's getting cheaper every week.
It is. Watching, and then Charlie messaged me, this game's good. You'd message, did you see this in this game? Shit. Lucky we can have 4 different games, but it's hard to concentrate on all 4.
And Red Zone. Always, don't forget Red Zone. Red Zone's on DAZN. DAZN.
It was a wild week in the Sunday game. The Sunday games alone, which obviously there's the most on the Sunday, but there was 5 games. We're going to get straight into our 2-minute drill. There's 5 games that had a 10 or more deficit that were overturned. Could have been 6 because you were down 10. Didn't. Overturned it to be overturned back. But yeah, 5 games in one day, Danny boy. Which one do you think was the most impressive?
To me, the most impressive was the Titans getting their first W. Cam Ward getting his first W in the NFL was absolutely huge. And that was an 18-point deficit to Arizona. Arizona should have walked away with this game. They had the ball in the end zone, dropped it for a fumble, and it didn't count, and the ball got turned over. Like, wild. Shouldn't have happened. And then there was a fumble on the other side where the Titans grabbed it and took it into their own end zone and got a touchdown for it. It was just like...
That was a pick. A pick that was fumbled, that was kicked forward into the end zone, they dived on it.
It was just like, wild is the only way to describe this game. But it was good. If that's the only way Cam Ward can get away and the Titans can get away with a victory, good on them because they did. They pulled away and got past the Cards. But there's got to be some serious questions asked about the Cardinals. And I was huge on them before the start of the season, before everyone jumps on me. Yes, I said they're going to make the playoffs. But they are not a well-coached team at the moment.
No, it was a gut punch for the Cardinals, who have sort of been... I mean, this is who they've been for a few years now. They're like, they should be better than they are. They have the talent to be doing better than they are. But this was such a Cardinals game. To lose that, they absolutely don't have the focus and the ticker to get it done on the day. But good on the Titans.
Saints getting their first win over the Giants, who we all kind of thought Jackson Dart turned a bit of a corner, but didn't happen in the end. The Saints...
So Jackson Dart still did play well for like majority of the game, but then he had a few rookie QB errors where he was like, going for a rush, like a little QB sneak, then fumbled the ball and turned it over. There was just a few unforced errors from Jackson Dart, which, like, if he had started off the season, you kind of expect in week 1 or week 2. But for him to only be on his second week, technically it is his week 2. So it's understandable. But the Giants' defense has been better than what they played in that game.
Also, you would say the Saints, this is a bit of recency bias, but they put up a better fight against the Bills the week before than people expected. So I think they would have been a bit confident coming into the Giants game, and they felt like they were getting closer to playing their best football as well. So it's not that big a shock that they beat the Giants.
Quick thought on Spencer Rattler. How's he travelling?
Spencer Rattler's fine. I think Spencer Rattler is doing as good a job as you can expect Spencer Rattler to do. He's actually doing well at committing to the run when it's a designed QB run. He's doing well on his feet. He's making some good plays. I think he's better than the early mail on Spencer Rattler was.
College Spencer Rattler was a gun. So
yeah. Well, high school Spencer Rattler was TV show worthy. But, but once again, he's been in a toughish situation with the Saints, and also not being the QB. You know, like it ended up he's the quarterback, but it wasn't like anyone set out for him to be the quarterback. But he's making the most of his opportunity, and I think by the end of the season, the overall impression with Spencer Rattler will be positive, and he is. I think he's a starting quarterback, but he's not, first or second tier starting quarterback.
Yeah, so he's a starting quarterback for one of the southern divisions.
That's right. He loves the southern environment.
Down south. The other one that was a bit of a surprise, we're going to touch on it a bit later, the Commanders with a commanding win over the Chargers, which was a bit of a surprise, and a couple of Ladd McConkey very unlucky with his, I think it was 60-yard returning touchdown, pulled away with a flag. So we will touch on that a little bit more later. Another question I want to put to you boys is, what's going on with field goal kicking? It's not just field goal, punting and kickoffs.
Special teams.
Special teams.
Special teams, baby.
So last year, there was 18 field goals blocked. Through 4 weeks, we haven't even counted the week 5 yet, there's been 9 already. What is going? I know we're attempting longer field goals.
Because that's the other part of the story is just the field goals are getting longer, and what is being attempted and what's being expected of kickers.
Is that changing the way they, even in the shorter field goals, their trajectory is just not as high?
I'm not Pythagoras, but I know enough geometry.
The theorem works.
I know enough geometry to know if it's going to go further, the angle has to come down a bit. That does make sense.
But is that translating into their 30 and 40-yard field goals where you should be able to just pop it up, I don't know, especially with the breeze and stuff, but they're still kicking through the ball a bit more?
Yeah. Do you know what? It's worth trying to get to the bottom of it. Genuinely, because it's happening with so much regularity, but also the sense that maybe it is the special teams have been drilling it harder. Like last year it was very spectacular to see a field goal get hit at the line,
Blocked,
get blocked. And it was like, oh, wow, now it's more commonplace. But maybe they're practicing it more. Maybe it is happening more. They're getting more athletic and it's, it is occurring. I'm actually broadly happy with special teams. I just as in from an entertainment point of view, the change to the kickoff rules so that you have to get it in the zone it's going to be 40. That means people are trying, they have to do it. And it's having an impact on the game. And that's good because I think there was a concern that special teams and kickoffs could get irrelevant. Yeah, that's right. And how boring would the game... It would just change the game if you just hand the ball to a quarterback at the 30-yard line and go for it, mate.
Yeah.
That's no way to start a game of sport.
No.
That's more boring than squash.
I reckon we can get to the bottom of this whole field goal blocking issue if we call up a couple of the Aussie placeholders and get them to phone in, have a little phone in, and find out what is going on, because they're going to know, because they're smack bang in the middle of the play with their finger on the ball.
Yeah, all right. I'll put some calls out, put some feelers out and see what's going on. But yeah, it just feels like I did some stats. I think 29 in the last 25 years. I think it was 29 is the most in a season. 29 to 28, but they were 2 outliers. We're on track for over 40. That's an outlier.
That's
I've
insane.
never seen one.
Special teams, it's good. As we're saying, it's making it a much more exciting part of the game where for a little bit
Especially the Eagles, you're blocking one every week.
Yeah, but then we cannot defend on a kickoff. The kickoff, if we landed in the landing zone, teams are running it back past the 50, more often than not. So, I'm not stoked on the new rules. Don't get me wrong. We'll do it much better before it. But it makes the game more exciting.
I'm pretty stoked. It's good. Kickbacks are great. I love it. So, is this the Colts world and we're just living in it at the moment? They are up and about. They probably should be 5-0 with despite a couple of little fumbles. I think it was against the...
It wasn't just a fumble. It was Addy Mitchell celebrating too early before he went into the end zone. It wasn't just a fumble. It was utterly unnecessary high school rookie mistake away from being 5-0. They're playing consistent football and they believe in themselves.
And a lot of people are saying, look who they're beating. But they're beating him by 3-4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
They're not... Jonathan Taylor, if he's not MVP, he's offensive. He's had a second 3-touchdown game. Is it going to be the Packers-Colts Super Bowl? Is that what we're talking?
Well, no, it's not going to be the Packers-Colts Super Bowl. Nice try.
We've got the NFC sorted.
No, I do think, Eagles-Bills seems more likely at this stage. But
Did both just lose?
Yeah. recency bias. Yeah. But that's my term for the week, obviously, in this podcast.
Word a day.
But no, I think the Colts, there's two things going on. They actually were a better team than they were capable of with Anthony Richardson at quarterback. And they've now got a quarterback with some experience and skills, Indiana Jones. And so the scheme is working, the players, it's actually coming together. And that job is made so much easier by the fact that you've got a running back going bananas. And you have a look at it. Life's harder for the Eagles this year because Saquon's not going for 8, 10, 12 yards a carry. The Bills had trouble this week because they didn't lean on James Cook as much as they have, but they've been almost unstoppable with James Cook running. And it's the same with the Colts. You've got a running back that's going to give you 100 yards a game every time, and whoever's defending against the Colts have to focus on him as a threat. That takes so much pressure off Indiana Jones and what he's capable of.
But then it also brings the defense in. So the defense will be closer to the line of scrimmage. They'll come closer in, which then he can just pop little passes just straight over the top, have a little slant route, and he's good to go. And then you just start looking at the weapons like Tyler Warren, the rookie who's doing incredibly well. They're playing complete football. The Colts are playing complete football, which is something I'm incredibly jealous of right now. But they are playing complete football, and at the moment, we are living in the Colts world. Who said that Indiana was just a basketball state?
Mm-hmm. Not you.
Not me, mate.
We were actually pretty high, didn't we?
No, I was really low.
What are you talking about? I was high on the Colts pre-season.
I said something about Daniel Jones.
This revisionist history. We can go back. I said that the Colts are going to be competitive this year because I said, sounding like an old football journo, do it on the indie beat. I said they've got a good program, and they do have a good program.
Yeah.
But nice of you to jump on my bandwagon.
I'll be checking it. Don't worry about that. That's one we can check. It's good. It's good for the game. I think Colts playing well. I like it. This week we kind of mentioned it already with the 5 deficits turned around. Upset galore.
Absolutely, and this was shown in our tipping comp. There was a few people who forgot to put their tips in. Right,
we're winning.
That are now winning because my
old man wants to point out he was up to 50th out of the whole ESPN. He's very happy with himself.
You got to be.
I haven't checked it since Sunday, but he was very up about.
He's got to be stoked with that. But there was a lot of people who didn't put their tips in, and the away teams kept on winning. And that's just the way of scheduling is sometimes. But for someone who's jumped from 14th to 3rd, shout out Papa Puss for that. Yeah. And it's just incredible. But yeah, major upsets. I think the one that stands out to me, and we kind of touched on it before, but it is the Commanders going over the Chargers. So the Chargers we were talking about last week of looking pretty damn dominant, beating some really strong teams. Justin Herbert being in MVP form, all this sort of stuff. Then you have the Commanders who have been really shaky. Daniels wasn't back yet, and then he finally comes back in and steps into his role, and then he wills the team and just shows that the Commanders of last year is still there. If you can get over this Chargers and get past this defense, you're a good football team. Yes, okay, anything can happen on the day, but they're showing light and hope for the rest of the season.
He was very rusty, hence the 10-point deficit. But once he turned it around, Jaden Daniels was up and about.
It is the nature of we're at week 5 of the season, and we leap to so many conclusions. Week 1, week 2, week 3.
Detroit was washed.
Detroit was washed, and now you don't want to meet them in a dark alley. It is just things are sort of starting to level out, and maybe the league is more even than it looked after 2 weeks, and that's reasonable. But also teams that we wrote off with a bunch of assumptions like San Francisco are too injured to compete. Well, it turns out they're not.
That was my upset, just purely because of players on the field. They had no wide receivers, and somehow they willed themselves. Christian McCaffrey,
he did it all.
It was incredible.
Rushing, receiving, touchdowns.
And to beat the Rams,
and it was Mac Jones again.
Yeah. So I want to change a bit of football wisdom, having watched the Niners-Rams game. The old adage that if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one. If you have 2 half quarterbacks, you do have one. And that's what's happening at San Francisco. It's Mac Jones is he was getting hurt, but he stayed on, hobbling around. I mean, who cares? It's Mac Jones. But he did the job. He got it done. And he plays pretty well under pressure in those moments where he has to make plays.
Yeah,
Looks
but
like for
he was a
reason.
top draft pick who didn't. The system didn't fit him, and 49ers have always been a plug and play system. Like you get a QB that can play a system, pick him up, plug him in, and he's good to go. And he's completely proved that.
We're going into a couple of deep dives. Is there an upset that upset you the most?
Of course, there's an upset that upset. I like the Patriots over the Bills was very upsetting, just because it was. I mean, I'm wearing my first off. I thought it was. I'm actually wearing my Diggs jersey, my old Diggs jersey, because it was upsetting because Diggs played football that he definitely didn't play the last 2 years at the Bills, but also the Bills were just so undisciplined across the board, and every crack showed it was a game that they absolutely should not have lost. The Bills lost it, and people will talk about was it Drake May being a great quarterback. I don't think he's the next Josh Allen, but he is very good. Diggs having an incredible game, but the Bills handed them that game, and that is a heartbreaking upset.
I know we don't talk stats. I know we don't, but like Diggs had 10 receptions and 120 plus yards. Like he has not
146,
Yeah,
146.
40 plus.
Yeah. So like he hasn't played a game like that since like pre-2022. Like it was absolutely insane. It was his first game coming back to play in Buffalo. So like we picked it. We knew he was going to be coming out and doing something like that. But to go to that level was like insane. And everyone, like the commentators were jumping on board saying that Drake May does look like the next Josh Allen. And like with some of the way that he was moving and playing, yes,
It was
okay.
outside the pocket.
Yeah.
In the pocket, you had him kind of contained. Once he kind of broke free.
And then he was finding his spots, like, and it was all those corner outs and the slants that were like kind of working for him. But the start of the game was so slow. Like it was 6-3 at halftime, no touchdowns had scored, and then like the second half, everything just opened up.
Absolutely, and also that first half, just too many penalties. There are a few penalties from the Patriots, but just too many penalties to get any flow going in the game. There was no flow to it. And what was annoying at 6-3 at halftime, it felt like one of those bullshit
Divisional
Bill
games.
Belichick, divisional game, but a Belichick divisional game, like a few years ago when Mac Jones was quarterback at the Patriots and they threw the ball three times in a night.
It was blowing an absolute gale.
Yeah, but it felt like that kind of game. But well, that Vrabel coached it. He coached it well. It's and the Patriots are in. Do you know what? Actually, they're in the kind of shape that people were saying they could be in at this point. It's not. There's nothing outrageous about what they did the other night. It's not like the Bills were firing and they beat us in a shootout. But the Vrabel going into the game said to his players and said to the press, "This is a test for us. We're measuring ourselves against the best in our division," and they came up pretty well. They actually played the way they needed to on the night.
The only real highlight for you guys was your uniforms.
Yeah, they were very good uniforms.
The all white.
The all white, but if the detail on them are like
It's incredible.
There's
The
like
ice white.
snowflake
Yeah.
and silver ice, and yes, I've got one on the way. It will be
Oh,
arriving
So
soon.
good. Was it called like White Fire or White? It's got a name for it.
Yeah,
But whatever it is, it's like
It was
White Fire.
I'd say it was up there in the top 3 jerseys of the week. There was some fire
We do have
ones.
some good ones to talk about. But yeah, I still think, I know you're saying you weren't at your best, still a great win for the Pats. Especially
Very good for
in
the Pats.
Buffalo. Like,
Yeah.
and we say it every week and then we go against it. Divisional games are different. You just have to treat them as a whole. It's nearly playoffs because they just play each other so much and they know each other's ins and outs. So huge win for them. And yes, probably upset of the week, really.
Yeah, I think absolutely.
You're most upset of the week.
Yeah, I'm definitely the most upset, but also upset of the week as far as the what you expected going into that game, and it's the same sort of with the Eagles a little bit for them to falter, but it is like
I just want to hear, what did you just say?
You picked it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You did pick it. In the
Before we
preview
get onto that,
episode, in the preview episode, you did. You're like, if anyone's going to upset the Bills, it's probably going to be the Patriots this week. And turns out you know football.
Sometimes. You were alluding to the next game, the Broncos over the Eagles. I think it's not an upset because the Broncos have shown a lot better form than the Pats. But to go out there and actually get the win, would you say it was 14 down?
Nah, 18 points in the fourth quarter. They came back.
Huge.
It was.
Bo Nix
So
was
the
man.
Eagles came out and they played like some pretty decent football. Jalen Hurts was like hitting AJ Brown right from the start, and like there's a bit of animosity there, which there always is between like a star wide receiver, and then had an absolute bomb down to Smith. you know, they were playing really, really nice football. But once again, the Eagles proved they can only do that for a single half. Because come the second half, there was so much resilience showed by Bo Nix and the Broncos, who came out and, scored 18 points in the fourth quarter to run away with this game. And the Eagles on defense just had nothing. It almost looked like they gave up, which isn't something that the Eagles normally do. But, they were just anything that Bo Nix wanted to do, he could against the Eagles. And it was really, really hard for me to watch. You know how much I love Bo Nix. And I love him.
I was going to
and
say,
I love the Broncos. And I was just I'm sitting there, I'm like, why is this QB that I absolutely love destroying my team? Why can't we all be friends?
Great day for the Broncos. Really good for where they're at. And also if you happen to support a team that doesn't want the Chiefs, knocking you off in the AFC Championship game again, you love having the Broncos doing well in the AFC West. My question to you is, where are the Eagles? Where are they at? Yeah, thank you. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. But no, what do you see as the issue there? That they can't play 4 quarters?
Yeah, that's the main issue. And then, Vic Fangio normally coaches such a, strong defense, but it seems like as soon as there's a different change or uplift in pressure, the Eagles are just really faltering with that, and their adaptability is doesn't exist. So if something's not working, they can't change and figure it out. They just keep on getting beat, and when they start losing, then they just lose by even more. And they just can't claw it back. There's just no consistency within the team through 4 quarters. If we get up to a big enough lead, we can hold on sometimes. But this was actually, let's move on from the Eagles for a sec. This was actually so good for Bo Nix and the Broncos to get over, this fourth quarter slump that they had for the past couple of weeks, where he was making mistakes in the fourth quarter, then losing by a field goal or losing on the final drive or whatever it was. It was really good for Bo Nix to then turn it around and be like, hey, you know what? I can win in the fourth quarter. And Sean Payton coached it beautifully to get past this Eagles team. And it was at home too. And not only that, it was at home with a West Coast team coming across the East Coast to then fly to London. So the teams that have won in those situations, so the NFL schedule it in that way on purpose, but the teams that have won in those situations, they're 2-15 or something. It just never happens. So because they're already thinking...
Is in the middle game.
The middle game. So they're already thinking about going to London, right? So it's their stop off on their way to go to London. So they're already traveling. They're traveling for the whole entire time. So when teams go do that, they lose. They always lose that time. So not only did they win, they beat the Eagles, which were an undefeated team before that, and they did it at home. And it was Jalen Hurts' first loss against the AFC team in 367 days.
That's an interesting stat that only a fan would use in a podcast.
How much, just like you said, we don't want to harp on it, but how much you lost a lot of defense veterans, and we said you'll be fine because you got Mitchell and all those guys who are now top 50s in there, but they're still young.
Yeah, so I think that's the thing that is still working well. So Cooper DeJean's still playing well, Mitchell's still playing incredible, but it's the defensive line that are struggling a little bit. So you're missing your Josh Sweats and other players that have moved on. That's where we're struggling. It's to put pressure on the quarterback, and then Jalen Carter, incredible, but he's still making mistakes. There was a 4-and-1 play. There was a 4-and-1 play. Yeah, spitting's never going to get you
it's
anywhere.
Just sinus issues in general.
Hay fever comes out terrible.
But there was a 4-and-1 play where the Broncos were clearly going to take a delay a game and move the ball back and then punt it. And he jumped. He jumped at the line. And then the Broncos, got 5 yards and then got a first down again. And they went on to score on that play. I was like, he's not playing level-headedly enough. But he's young and he is an incredible talent. But something you don't have that veteran leadership, like you're saying, to control the boys on the field, which they need.
I would say, just to wrap this in a nice little bow, that I would like to be 4-and-1 and have a few problems. You can turn it around and still make the play out. It's not a bad spot to have a few problems in.
And we needed to lose.
And you're not winning championships in September, October.
No, and we needed to lose this game. So hopefully, everyone has a little slap across the back of the head and realize, hey, you're not going to go undefeated for the season. You're not going to walk straight into the Super Bowl. This will be a fight. This will be harder than you were even thinking and imagining. Just because you did it last year, this year's going to be even harder. And hopefully this game's proved that to the boys.
Good luck to the Giants on Friday. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think they're going to have an uncomfortable time. But it is, Saquon Barkley was saying afterwards that this is the adversity that the team needed to, turn it around and overcome it. It's probably a similar to the Bills. And I think also the Packers are probably a bit more stuck in the mud than they expected to be.
We beat the bye this week. What do you mean?
Yeah, that's right. Nailed it completely. Rested up. A lot of soul searching this week.
We're all in Tijuana, probably.
Yeah, but that sense that it's the old Von Miller adage that it's good medicine. A loss can actually help you, and it's a good time.
Great
week
time
week 5 is good.
Yeah.
Because if we go back 2 seasons ago where the Eagles went 10-0 to start the season, then they started losing, then they lost out for the rest of the season. I'd much rather them lose now and figure it out before the playoffs.
The last one I want to talk about, and this has to go down as one of the great Jersey games in history. The Bucks and Seahawks throwback, the Creamsicles versus the throwback Seahawks. Elite. Doesn't even matter how the result was, which was incredible. Great game.
I love that Seahawks jersey. Like even the font.
I love the Creamsicle. I think it's great.
They're both great. Like
Creamsicle is an acquired taste in a jersey, it's borderline. But that Seahawks one,
Seahawks is
and even the font they have around the field, it's like their old school font. They need to go back to that. That is so much better. Like they should just play in that uniform all the time.
Hit them up.
Got to hit him up. But what a game for Baker Mayfield. I know we're all so massive on him on this podcast, which is fair enough, but he is a proven winner. Once again, had the ball, final drive. Yes, it came off a Sam Darnold interception, which bounced off the defensive end's head. Crazy to end up being an interception. But then they had the ability to go down, and the team played with so much composure on that final drive to not go out of bounds, to wind the clock down, to get first downs, to kick a little chip shot field goal to get the win. This game was incredible.
That's why Baker's down to $12 for MVP.
He is plummeting in a good way.
Yeah, it's hard not to like Baker. Really like it, and like the way he goes about it. He's all competitor all the time, never considers himself out of it, and has a good, just a joy to the football when you watch it. And I find that it makes him so easy to watch. And on the other side of it, Sam Darnold having some great quarterback play as well. It wasn't, that was a great game for a reason. They're two quarterbacks who very high draft picks when they came out, written off, in a lot of ways, and a lot of people felt like maybe they'd end up being backup quarterbacks. And it's great to see them out there just slinging it.
Found somewhere that they wanted.
Yeah, Sam Darnold was a backup to Brock Purdy at the 49ers not too long ago, which is pretty crazy.
And then a backup to
about.
JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, that was. We'll move on from that.
Now, is JJ just quick on? Is he a backup to Carson Wentz?
Oh, maybe.
But Carson hasn't lost, does he?
But Baker's connection with Mbuka is absolutely next level. I don't know how they have so much incredible chemistry, but he just manages to find him on every single deep ball and the end zone every single week. It's something people need to be watching because it's going to happen.
We have to see what they're doing in Ohio State. The wide receivers that come out of Ohio State, and Booker's another one, incredible. Year after year, it's a factory of wide receivers.
And we used to talk about LSU as the wide receiver factory before, and with good reason. Some amazing wide receivers coming out. But Ohio State has produced probably just as many elite receivers over the last few years. And it is interesting the way that certain programs deliver certain, for a stretch there were great running backs coming out of Alabama that, how much it is to do with the position coach or whoever it is at those programs. But it's interesting to see that when there's a tendency that, teams are going to start saying, all right, we're going to favour an option from Ohio State because their track record is really good.
Yeah, 100%. But incredible game. Mayfield getting the job done at the end. I don't think the Seahawks lose any fans out of this game. They were down. They were another game, down 14, came back. I think
it was nearly shut out. It was nearly shut out in the first half. The Bucks nearly were up 14-0, and then the Seahawks scored on in the final 30 seconds of the first half. And then it wasn't
started with the ball,
and then started with the ball and scored again, and then they ended up leading because it must have been 13-0. Then they scored and ended up being 14-13 after the start of the first half. But what a crazy turnaround from a game that we expected to be a shootout. Then the first half wasn't, and then the second half absolutely was above and beyond what I was hoping for.
And then 73 points in the game, which is
insane.
That's what we want. No one wants defense.
No,
especially not for the Packers.
No.
What is it? Defense wins Super Bowl. Yeah. Offense sells tickets.
That's it. Huge week, boys. Week 6 is only getting bigger. We'll see you then.
Go Bills, please. Go Bills. Please go Bills.
God,
all right.